this video, I'm going to show you how to do your second Microsoft Access project. To do that, as usual, you just have to go ahead and first download all the files. So the next thing, you just have to open the instruction file. First, you have to change. So you have to change the file name from 1 to 2. So just go to this file and then change it to number 2. And then the next thing you have to do is check if your download is correct. Open the file and double click on grading info table. So if you see your name and some details here, your download is fine and you can continue to the next step. Otherwise, delete this file, close it, delete this file, and then you have to download it again and start all over again. So the first step is to create a query. To do that, create query design. So we have to select customers table. To do that, simply click here and you can drag it here. So we have now selected our table. It's customers table. And then we have to add some fields. So the first field is customer ID. So it's here. And the second field is first name. And the third field is last name. And then date of birth. So we have added the fields. And then we have to sort by last name. So go to sort, go to last name, select ascending. So we sort by ascending order. And then save this query with this name. I'm just copying this. To save, just click here, right click, save, and then give it this name, customer last name sorted. So this is going to create customer last name sorted query. So that's here. Customer last name sorted. If you double click here, it's just a list of names and birth dates. Basically what he did was just specified some criteria. Based on that criteria, pull some data. Step 2. Start with homeowner's premium query. Go ahead and find here. It's here, homeowner's premium. And then we have to open it in design view. To open it in a design view, right click, design view. And then we have to make some changes to this query. So the first change that we are going to make is delete the customer ID column. So we have to delete this column. Right click. So I don't see any delete option. I would just do a cut. So that will delete it. And then we have to add a criteria. The criteria is greater than 2000. So do this. Save the changes now. Click here, right click, save. Step 3. We start with liability or property query. So again, go here and liability or property query. Select this one and open in design view. So liability or property, right click, design view. And we have to add a criteria. The criteria is liability field equal to 75,000. So go to liability field, criteria, liability field, enter 75k here. And the second criteria is or. So we have to add a second criteria. It has to be on the second line here. On the or, we have to enter again 75,000 here. So that's it. And then save the change to the query. And let's confirm the results. So when we open this liability or property in datasheet view, we should see 3 records here. So it's fine here. We can proceed to the next step. Step 4. Again, we work with comparison birth query, and we have to open it in design view and make some changes to it. Comparison birth. So the first change is to add a field. So the first field we have to add is first name. So we don't see first name here, so we just have to add it here. From the list, first name. So that's added. And then the second step is the field should be immediately next to the customer ID. So we have to put the field next to the customer ID. To do that, just select this. To select, just put here, point. So when the arrow changes like that, select, and then at this point just point on the first line. It doesn't work if you do it here. Just point here and then here. Then you have to drag it. So the first name has to be next to the customer ID. So that's done. So this is done. And then we have to add a criteria. Go to criteria. The criteria is selection based on birthday is less than 1/11950. So that's the birthday, and then we have to set the format. So we have to change the format of the birthday. So to do that, just click here, right click, properties. So the date format has to be medium date. So from here, format, select medium date. That's it. And then caption. Also in the same field, we have to change the caption. The caption is birth date. Copy this one, paste, enter. So avoid any unnecessary space here. It might cause some problem later. We can close it and save the change to comparison birth. So we just have to save it. To save, just click here, right click, save. So we can open a datasheet view to check if our result is correct. So comparison birth. So we're seeing the exact same result. Again, we can proceed to the next step. Step 5. Again, we go to state city sort query. Again, we have to open this in design view. So state city, we have to find it here, state city sort. So right click, we have to open it in design view. And after that, we have to make some changes again. So the first change we have to make is move the state field to the beginning. So the state field is right now at the end. So we have to make it at the beginning of the design grid so that the order field is state city or something. So we have to move this one. To move it, just point here. When the arrow changes into something like this, click, and then at this point also you have to click and then drag it here. So that's done. And then step B, sort the records in descending order by the state field. So we have to sort the results. So to do that, go to state field and then sort by. So the state field, we have to sort it by descending order and in ascending order in the city. So the city has to be in the ascending order. So now we can view it in datasheet view. So we have some results here. Step 6, liability property query in design view. Liability and property query in design view. That's this one. Right click, design view, and then specify some criteria. The criteria is, so we just have to enter 1000 here, 100K here. And the condition is end. That means we have to enter the other criteria just next to it on the same line. If it is or, then it's a different line, and then it's on the same line. On the personal property, we have to enter 100K here. So that's it. So save the change. Right click, save. open the liability and property in datasheet view. To open datasheet view, just double click here, and we have to see 2 records. So that's correct. We can proceed to the next step. Step 7, Michigan customers query. Also, we have to open it in design view. Michigan customers. Right click design view. So in this step, what we have to do is again specify some criteria. So we want to specify the state field value to MI. So the state field has to be, criteria is MI. Simply just enter MI. It should not be like that. I just tried it, it doesn't work. I simply do MI and then press escape. So to save it, just here, right click save, and then we have to check the result. Michigan customers, so it has to be like this. So we have selected all the results from Michigan. So we can go to the next step. Step 8. Step 8 is open the customer city query in design view again. Customer city, this one, right click design view, customer city, and add criteria. So the criteria has to be in the city field, and we want to select all cities that will start with. On the city field, we have to specify a city name that begins with A. So to do that, we just have to do something like criteria. Just enter like double apostrophe AL and then asterisk. So this will list all cities that will start with, that has a name that starts with AL. And save the change. Right click save. You can close it. And customer city, open it. So this selects all city names that has starting with AL. So this is done. Step 9. So sometimes we want to join 2 tables. To do that, just if you are on the home page, just click on create, query design. When you do this, you are going to see this option. So we want to pull data from customers table and renters table. So from this list, if you are seeing this option, just click on tables. So we need customers table. You can drag it here, and then renters table. You can drag that here as well. So now we have our table. So we have done this already by dragging and dropping. Add last name field from customers table. So customers.last name, we select that. So this is done. And then select policy number from premium field. So I have to select policy number, and the other field is premium. That's from renters. So we have selected 3 fields now, and join customers table and renters table by drawing a line from customers ID field in customers table. And so we have already done this because I already dragged and dropped this table from this side. So this is already done. So we don't have to do anything for step D. And finally, we have to save this query as customer renter. Right click save, and the name has to be customer -renter, and then OK. And then open the query in datasheet view. Here it is. Double click. So here is a query that we have created. So this data basically is created from 2 tables. The name is coming from the customers table, the policy number and premium is coming from the renters table. Step 9 is done. Step 10. For step 10, we have to open states parameter query. So we have to find here states parameter, and we have to open it in design view. Right click design view. So we have to add criteria to the state field. So the current criteria is FL. So we want to change that to prompt a user to select whatever state he wants to check. Square brackets, and the prompt has text, so it says enter a desired state. So when we do this, it will prompt a customer, it will prompt a user to select specific whatever state he wants to check instead of Florida, which was fixed here. And then save it. So view the data, view the query in datasheet view. So we can close it and check our result. State parameter in datasheet view, double click. So now it asks enter desired state. And then step C, we have to enter PA here. PA. Okay. So that's the result. The result has 8 records, so this is correct. So step 10 is done. Step 11. Top values property. So we have to open this query now. Top values property. We have to open it in design view and modify the query to sort the property damage amounts in descending order. So we have property damage, so we have to sort by descending order and then change the return value to display only top 5 records. So to display only the top 5, click here and right click properties and then click outside here and then here on the top values, the list, select 5. So this is already done. So that will display only top 5 values. And to open the result in datasheet view, just click here, run. So that's fine. Save and close. Step 12. Total coverage query, this one. Open it in design view. So this is also done. To do this, simply you have to copy this field. The way it is, just copy and paste it on this field. And that's it. If you run it, you should see this calculated field. Step 13, open average premium query. So that's here. We have to open it in design view. And we have to perform these operations. We have to add totals row to the design grid. To do that, just click here on the last row and then right click and select totals. And then we have to change it. Then we have to change from group by to average, this option. And then we have to set a caption to AVG, and then we have to set a caption to AVG prim. To change the caption, we just have to click here and here, I think. I have to enter the caption there. And then I have to save it and then run the query. And the result shows exactly like what we expect. Step 14, go to customers without homes query. Customers without homes, this one. Open design view, and then we have to change the join property of this relationship. To do that, just double click on this line. When you select the line, it becomes highlighted, so select it. You have to double click it, and then from this option just select the last option and then say OK. So now the relation is done. And then for this one we have to add a new criteria, is null criteria, on the policy number field. So go to criteria, has to be is null, and then we have to do ascending, sorting by ascending order on the last name field. So last name field, sort by ascending, and save the query and run it. So this will give you this result, which is 21 records, and the policy number is null. So that's right. Step 15, we go to unique states query. Unique states query, open in design view, modify the query to list all states only once. To do that, just go on the new line, new row here at the end of the row, right click, totals. So this field has to be grouped by, And then on this unique values, it has to be yes. Then save it and run it. So it will list unique states here. 15 is done. Step 16, we have to create a crosstab query using Mid-Atlantic table. So to create a query, you have to go to create, and you can create a query using query design, but I will use a query wizard for this case. And then from the list, select crosstab query. So the crosstab query is based on Mid-Atlantic table, so select Mid-Atlantic table and then hit next. So state field is row heading. So for the row heading, just select state field, this one, and then do that, and then next. City field is going to be column heading. So for column heading, select city and then hit next. And then we have to use count function. So by default it's on count, so next. Save the query as state city crosstab as a name. So copy that. Save it like state city query tab. And then simply finish. So this is the result, and I think it's done. Step 17. Go to renters table. Now we go to the tables section and select renters. We have to export it to Excel, to Excel file. So I'm going to export this file to where all the other my Outlook file is, and in my Access file is. So I'm going to export to the same location. To export, click on renters table, right click, and then select export. We are going to export to Excel file, so select Excel, and then so the name has to be renters. So by default it's exactly the same, but then we have to select the location. So the location has to be downloads. That's where I kept my files, so I'm selecting downloads. And the file format is Excel, and then it says do not export the data with formatting and layout. So that means we should not select this option. Simply click OK. And then say save export steps. So we have to do this. So select this, and then using export renters as a name. So it's export renters, so we don't have to change anything, and then save report. So this will export the file here, renters, with the name renters Excel. So this is the new file which is exported. So 17 is done. Step 18, use import spreadsheet wizard. So we have to import data from one of the support files which are downloaded from MindTap. We have to import it and append it to the umbrella table. To do that, select umbrella table, right click, and then import. So the data format is Excel, so select Excel, and then we have to choose the file which we are going to import. So this is a support file. Select. So, and then we are going to append the file. We are going to append the data to the umbrella table. So select the second option, and we have to select the table from this list. So umbrella, and then we just have to say OK. And next, and then finish. And then we don't have to say, and this the last step says do not save the import steps, so we should not select this option. So close it. So step 18 is done, and step 19 we just have to rename this query to this one, rename it. To rename, just select, right click and rename, then give it a new name. So that is done. And the last step, group the objects in the navigation pane. So we just have to change the way how this grouping looks like we have to change the grouping by tables and related views. To do that, select this option, tables and related views. So this will change the view. And finally, we just have to save the file. Save. So save the Outlook file and then upload your work.